It's here. I walked for a little bit too long. Chat above. Oops. Oh my gosh, grabbing the wrong thing. You'd think I would pick like a preference by now. So, I don't understand. Like, how do you control the volume without having to go to the full window? Okay, whatever. It works. I'm gonna change the music. Well, I had it kind of quiet from before, and then I wanted to turn it up. But once I turned it up, I realized I didn't really want to listen to that music, so then I changed it. I don't know if I don't know if this is in line with anything that he says in this book necessarily, but if you had like this is a system, and we'll call this like brain. No. And this system has like a bunch of rules. Everything that happens within this brain follows these rules. Then you have a broader system, like the universal system. System also has its own rules. A lot more rules. A lot bigger, more complex rules. And some of these rules are actually shared between the universal system and the brain system. So the brain system actually exists somewhere within here. And it has these rules, but it doesn't quite have everything. Okay, it's like somewhere in here. Now, this brain system is closed. There's no like, even though it's within the universal system, it does not interact with the universal system. Like, the only interaction that the brain system has with the universal system is in that it is constrained within the universal system. So it can't be like this. It can't have other rules out here that go against the universal system. But it also doesn't interact with the universal system. If you are looking from, if you're looking from like right here, if you're here and you're looking at the brain system within the universal system, you see that the brain system exists within the universal system, and you see the like the role that it plays within the universal system. But there's no like how do I describe this? Things that happen. I gotta think this through a little bit. Okay, things that happen. Yeah. Things that happen within the universal system are only observable from the perspective of the universal system. The brain system is stuck. Like, its observations. So, like, go back to that thing here. Why can't I delete that? Whatever. So someone here within the brain system making observations, they can only observe the brain system itself. So like, even though the brain system is contained here within the universal system, if something is, if something's sitting here within the brain system, looking around, making observations, it's stuck within the brain system. It can't go anywhere else in the universal system. So this brain system that's completely within the laws of the universal system is like limited, and everything within it is limited to just that one system. So this kind of goes to one of the things I said before, where like the way that we perceive the world, because you could think of this as kind of your consciousness, your view, you're trapped within this, and you're making observations, but your observations are only about your own brain. You're not actually looking out into the universal system. And because of that, in a way, you can have a rule within this system that's like this, or like this. And it's legit. It works. Whatever system you've got in here, whatever the rules are, those are just the rules. And, you know, maybe someone is impaired by this, but within that system, it all makes sense in a way. So everything is possible here. And this system can do a pretty good job of replicating the universal system. So it could look like you have your brain system like this, and then I should put these on different layers. But you've got your brain system, and then within that you have this. And this is the universal system. But this is not the real universal system. This is like, you know, an image, or like a faux universal system. So this is not real. This is just your interpretation of this entire thing. And so when you're here, you're this little dude in here, and you're looking around. You're looking at this. This is what you're looking at. When you try to observe the outside universe, anything outside of your own brain, you're seeing this tiny circle. Every single thing that you know exists in here. And there could be other stuff as well. But generally speaking, everything that you think exists within this. So let's say you met someone one time, you know, you met person 1A, they're in here. And then they're also in here. But it's not the same person. This is like person 1A prime or whatever. Okay? This is like the real person 1A. You never met person 1A prime, the original person 1A. Your person 1A is completely different. And when person 1A dies, they're not really erased from the universal system, because the universal system, you know, is more complicated than that. But for the sake of demonstration, if we're talking about a single moment in time and a particular construction of matter and patterns and everything, then person 1A can die in the universal system and yet can still exist within this system. Let's say, for example, person 1A is doing fine, and you know that person 1A is doing good. You have information about them. You know they're okay, whatever. But then they die, and you don't know. You've never been told. Then nothing's changed in this system. Nothing at all has changed in this system because you haven't gotten that input. You don't get input from this, really. Like, it doesn't matter what happens to part of the universal system, because nothing in that really exists in here. I guess in some ways maybe this is a bad representation, because this makes it look like the brain system and the universal system share some of the same material, space, rules, whatever. Technically they don't. It's more like they overlap, so they each have their own copy of this section. But they're entirely different. They're separate. So it is more like this, where they're completely distinct. Anyway, person 1A dies in the universal system, but they're still around in the brain system. Is that person dead? Because again, every time that you've observed the universe, you've only ever observed this section. You're not actually looking at this. So this is the same person that you've always known. This is the one representation you have of them, and they're still there. And in fact, they could transform from person 1A into, you know, person 1B if for some reason there was a need for that. Now they're person 1B, I guess. Doesn't really matter. Let's say they're still person 1A in the universal system. That hasn't changed. But now in this system, they're person 1B. Why? Because it doesn't matter what they are in universal system. It just matters what they are in the brain system. It's a completely different system. And this information doesn't have to match in order for this to exist and be real. Like, what is the difference between the brain system and the universal system that makes one of them real and the other one not? Nothing. They're the same in the sense of this system is a system, and this system is its own system. This system is less complex, but it still allows an observer to exist and perceive all the things that happen within this system. So people who imagine that they've seen something, people when they hallucinate or they get facts wrong, memories meld together, patterns get distorted, whatever, that becomes the new system in a way. It's all there. So kind of one of the ways that I think is interesting to look at it is that you can control everything in here however you want, because things are going to happen against your will, and you're not always going to be able to control what you're thinking and what your mind does and how your memories form. But you don't have to worry about all the stuff out here. You don't have to worry about, reality. Because you can't perceive reality anyway. You can only perceive your representation of reality. And I don't know necessarily if he gets into this, but this is, I guess he kind of does, because that's one of the things he's been talking about. But any system that you have, I'll make this one sharper because it's simpler, right? So this system is a really basic system with 2 rules in it. No, I'll do 3 rules, okay? It's got 3 rules in it. Now, chances are you can't make an observer with 3 rules. You're gonna need a more complex pattern for that. But, well, depends on what you classify an observer. But within this system, anything that fits within these rules is reality. And this is what you are. This is what everybody experiences, is they're trapped in this simple system. It's not simple, but they're trapped within a system that's much simpler than the universal system. And so these don't have to it's like the existence of this system has to make sense within the universal system, but the system itself can be completely different. This system can have its own rules that kind of go against what the universal system dictates should normally exist, but it really doesn't, because it's like this can have rules that the universal system as a whole doesn't have, but the universal system accounts for the possibility of systems that have such rules, because those systems don't really affect the broader system in that way, I think. So yeah, if you have a pet that you really love and that pet dies in the universal system, depending on how you can think of things, it might not necessarily matter to you because that dude's still there, you know? You can keep him in the brain system. You can choose, in some sense, to treat him as though he's still alive in the universal system, because there is no such thing in the brain system as an entity being alive in the universal system. You get basically this being a thing, existing in the universal system, causes, when observed, an A to exist in the brain system, but it's a different A altogether. It's a copy, and this copy can go on to do anything else. It doesn't matter what happens in the universal system. Okay, I'm done talking about that. That was probably a long-winded thing where I kind of repeated myself a lot. know what? That whole system thing, I feel like that might be another way of looking at, like, the whole multiverse, or, like a theory of a broader universal system. So, like, let's say this is like the simplest system idea, and there's everything in between, obviously, but like you've got that, and then you've got this like other more complex system, and then you've got this other broader system. We'll call this like the brain system again. And then there's like the universal system, and then on top of that you could maybe have like another level, and rather than thinking of it as like this idea of infinite universes where anything is possible because every single possibility is accounted for in at least one universe, so like instead of this theory where there's infinite universes that account for everything, what if it's just one really, really complex universe that within itself allows for everything? So just one giant universe that contains every possibility. One universe that makes every single possible conceivable rule work. So we perceive a universe like we're in this layer, I guess, and we perceive this universe and all the rules that it has and all the rules that we can come up with. And then there's rules outside of that which allow for this universe to exist. But it's really like, it's because this universe exists and that it allows for every rule to be possible that this universe exists. Like, rather than thinking of them as parallel, just that they're all part of the same giant thing. Because I don't really agree with the multiverse theory, but if we just think of it as like, well, our universe is a lot more complicated than we think it is, then like, then in that case, I guess I could say the multiverse theory kind of makes sense. I don't know. have the transcription makes no sense. Oh, I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna do CS50 anymore, because it feels really pointless. Because once, like, it's nice to have something that forces me to do projects and like check out different coding languages, but the certification is completely pointless. Like, I don't think it matters at all, so I'm not gonna bother with it. I'll just spend that time doing more free code camp and C# or whatever. What's up? Yeah, this actually is a little bit of what I was talking about, but I didn't talk about paradoxes in that sense. I was just, but like, a recursive definition never defines something in terms of itself, but always in terms of simpler versions of itself. I only saw it as one viewer. Are there actually two people? I thought you were the only one. That's what it says for me. Weird. gosh, German. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Whoops. Oh, right. 'Cause I kept. Well, I could put this here, but it's a little complicated. I need the actual book. I don't understand how and then gets turned into and D. Benignly. That's a good way to put it. I love you too. Thank you. Okay, so there's a node called fancy node, and we hit that node. This means that we commit to memory via the stack the location of the node inside the sentence. So we'll know where to return to. Then we transfer our attention to the procedure fancy now. Now we must choose a pathway to take in order to generate a fancy now. Suppose we choose the lower of the upper pathways. The one whose calling sequence goes ornate noun, relative pronoun, fancy noun, verb. So we spit out an ornate noun, the strange bagels, a relative noun, that. And now we are suddenly asked for a fancy noun. But we are in the middle of fancy. Yes, but remember, phone call, when he got another one, he then stored the old phone call status on a stack and began the new one. Nothing was unusual, so we should do the same. First, write down in our stack the node we are at in the outer call on fancy noun, so that we have a return address. Then we jump to the beginning of fancy noun as if nothing were unusual. Now we have to choose a pathway again. For variety's sake, let's choose the lower path. Ornate noun, preposition, fancy noun. That means we produce an ornate noun, say the purple cow, then a preposition, say without, and once again we hit the recursion. So we hang on to our hats, descend one more level. To avoid complexity, let's assume that this path is the path. This is the pathway this pathway we take is the direct one. Just ornate noun. For example, we might get horns. We hit the node end in this call on fancy noun, which amounts to popping out. And so we go to our stack to find the return address. It tells us that we were in the middle of executing fancy noun, one level up, and so we resume there. This yields the purple cow without horns. On this level 2, we hit end, and so we pop up once more. This finding ourselves in need of a verb, so we choose gobbled. This ends highest level call on fancy noun with the result of the phrase, the strange bagels of the purple cow without horns gobbled. the result, not the phrase. Actually, I kind of forgot, but the God thing with the gens does relate in some way as well, because it was an infinite loop that actually kind of got resolved because they the way that they were treating the loop, it was like one of them at one of the steps, it kind of just picked an endpoint of like, oh well, he doesn't know, you know, like he thinks that's the last one, and so he didn't pass the message on in the same way. And that's kind of similar to what can happen with the brain system, I guess, if you want to look at it that way. That's true. That is true. I like that point. Oh my gosh, why did I do that? At first I didn't see the for n is greater than 0, and I was kind of like, what? But I mean, it's defined here for 0, so okay. This is kind of amusing. Sorry, I'm literally just sitting here doing these. This bottom one kind of takes a while to build because it's like when you get to n equals 4 and 5, the values are still coming out like the same. Like q of 4 is equal to 3, and a q of 5 is also equal to 3. But then on the next jump up to q of 6, then you get 4. Like it's a very slow build. It's like 1 1 2 2 3 3, and then 4, and then I think 4 again. Or then hang on. So that would be it's even more than that, because it'll start going down as well, and then probably back up. Let me actually expand this out more. Okay, it does give you 5. One, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5. Did I do something wrong? 3, 3, 4, 5. No, yeah, that's right. I said 2, 2, but I don't have that. There is only 1 2. Not of the immediately previous. Instead, the 2 immediately previous values tell how far to count back to obtain the numbers to be added to the new value. Yeah, it's a little weird. 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 6, 8, 8, 8, 10, 9, 10. Yeah, it's really bizarre. If someone gave me a sequence like this, hopefully expand it out a lot farther, but if someone gave me a sequence like that, I would be so confused. was the text on the other side of this paper? I'm kind of curious. I'm getting so sidetracked. Okay. Mm-hmm. This text behind it is this text. I think it's just I never really paid much attention to that, but it's always been that way. Because of how it got scanned in. Alright. I think I'm gonna read the rest of this little section and then I'm done. Two versions of this book. Hmm. Hmm. What the heck? This is too much for me. Close enough. Didn't get very far, but it's kind of cool. All right, bye, Katie.